This is the Modi Diaries, a special telecast where we delve into the 10 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership. Today, we take a pause from the election coverage and shift our focus to the efforts made by the Prime Minister to transform our sports landscape. The year 2023 was triumphant for India, with our athletes clinching 107 and 111 medals at the Asian Games and the Asian Para Games respectively. Well, there are government schemes that have been inculcated to scout for talent and to support our world-class athletes. Schemes such as Khelo India program helps in identifying and supporting fresh talent across 16 disciplines. There is a total annum scholarship of 6.28 lakh rupees that is provided to each of the athletes for their training, coaching, medical insurance and many more things. Meanwhile, the target Olympics podium schemes that cater to India's top athletes such as Neeraj Chopra and Mary Kom and others provide 50,000 rupees monthly assistance for specialized instructors, coaches, psychologists and facilities for athletes. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced plans to host both the Youth Olympics and the Olympics on Indian soil in 2036, he also spoke about how India should become a hub for the global international sports ecosystem. The question that looms large is, has the Prime Minister's efforts revived the sports culture in our country? Are his efforts truly strengthening India's sports talent? Let's take a quick dive into it. Joining me on the telecast, let me quickly get in Deepa Malik. She's a former Paralympian. Deepa, thank you for joining us on the telecast. And of course, we have been focusing on a number of aspects that the Prime Minister has focused on. And today we talk about sports. And he started off from yoga, making yoga as an international yoga day across the globe. And it has been diligently followed by people, millions and millions across the globe today. There has been initiatives where the Prime Minister is personally meeting with the sports persons, with the athletes, when they go to take part in international competitions abroad, whether it is Olympics or the World Championships or the Asian Championships. Not only that, when these sports persons return, he makes a point to meet them. He makes a point to post personal tweets on their Twitter accounts, just to motivate them, just to boost them, just to congratulate them that they are an important, integral part of the country and they are making a difference by making India proud. As I listed out a number of these schemes that have been launched, the initiatives, the infrastructure projects that have been created, has the Indian sports arena changed for the better in the last 10 years?
So that's the question for me?
Yes.
Definitely. In last 1 decade, I can very proudly say, as a para athlete first, then who had the opportunity to become a Paralympian, moving on to becoming an administrator, not only served as the president of the Paralympic Committee of India, but also a member of the All India Sports Council. I have seen sports becoming inclusive. I have seen more than 17 states already having adopted at par scheme for the para sports. I have seen 300% women participation grow. I have also seen the junior para the championships and grassroots talent search programs come up. What I'm more proud of is that we have come to a level where we are hosting international level para events, whether we talk about already done 5 Indian Open Para Athletics Championships, where almost about 12 countries have participated. We have recently been able to conduct the World Cup for the parachuting, where 48 countries participated, which was also one of the qualifying rounds for the Paris 2024. So many excellence centers have come. All the National Center of Excellence programs have included para sports athletes in it. There have been special increase in the budget from the participation of merely 19 athletes in Rio 2016. Now we had 19 medals in Tokyo 2020. When there was a target set as 100 plus medals, at least touch the score of 100. I'm so proud that the equal and at par policies which were funding the special needs of the athletes as per their disability requirements. If they needed prosthetics, they needed artificial limbs, they needed specific wheelchairs for a specific sport. In para sports, we need assistive aids, we need competition partners, we need a lot of volunteers to support. The science, nutrition, anti doping programs were introduced into para sports. And the result we saw was even we as para athletes could contribute to that vision of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which was 100 plus medals, and we could reach the auspicious number of 111.
Right.
So it has been, the graph has definitely gone up. When a prime minister himself has a direct contact with the athletes, speaks about their welfare, encourages them, whether they win, they lose, he stands shoulder to shoulder with them.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
especially when it is being spoken internationally, the way we have our image now, that, oh my God, your prime minister is going to welcome you. I mean, that has become the benchmark, and we have become the pioneers of setting that benchmark
I
globally.
completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Yogendra Dutt, Indian professional wrestler. He's an Olympic winner. Thank you so much, Yogeshwar Dutt, for joining me on the telecast. Yogeshwar, quickly, how do you think has the sports fraternity in our country transformed in the last 10 years? What all has been done for our wrestlers, for our athletes to improve their game and improve the quality of performance that they give on international arena?
सभी को नमस्कार। देखिए, सबको पता है कि जब 2014 के बाद हिंदुस्तान के खेलों में क्या बदला है। रियो ओलंपिक में हमारे 2 मेडल आए थे। उसके आते ही प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक टास्क फोर्स टीम का गठन किया, जो आज टॉप्स के नाम से चलती है, टारगेट ओलंपिक पोडियम स्कीम। जो बच्चे टॉप्स में आते हैं उनको पर्सनल फिजियो दिया जाता है, पर्सनल स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनर दिया जाता है, पर्सनल कोच, पार्टनर, कहीं भी पार्टनर मिलते हैं। और खिलाड़ी हिंदुस्तान में चाहे हिंदुस्तान में ट्रेनिंग करे, फॉरेन में चाहे वहाँ ट्रेनिंग करे। सबसे बड़ी ये चीजें खिलाड़ी को चाहिए, अपनी प्रैक्टिस के अनुसार उसको जो चीजें रिक्वायर हैं, जो चीजें उसको चाहिए, वो चीजें मिलती हैं। और ये चीजें आज आप लगाइए कि आज कोई टॉस स्कीम में है तो उस पर लगभग 4 से 5 करोड़ रुपया खर्चा सालाना होता है। और कहीं भी किसी खिलाड़ी को पैसे की कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती, कहीं भी वो ट्रेनिंग करे, और ग्रास रूट तक सुविधाएं पहुंची है। आप खेलो इंडिया की स्कीम देखोगे तो लगभग 900 करोड़ का बजट खेलो इंडिया स्कीम के तहत खिलाड़ियों पे लगता है। खेलो इंडिया में 3,500 करोड़ का बजट आज तक का सबसे ज्यादा खेलों का बजट है। और एक जो खेलों का नजरिया बदला है खिलाड़ियों के लिए भी और हमारे हिंदुस्तानियों के लिए भी, और दुनिया जो विदेशी खिलाड़ी उनके लिए भी। आज हमारे खिलाड़ी विदेश में कहीं पे एशियन गेम्स हो, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स हो, ओलंपिक हो, जाते हैं, जाने से पहले प्रधानमंत्री जी उनसे बात करते हैं, उनको मोटिवेट करते हैं, उनका उत्साह बढ़ाते हैं कि आप जाइए देश के लिए, आप खेल के आइए, हार जीत लगी रहती है, बस आप खुल के खेलिए और देश के लिए खेलिए। वहां से आने के बाद जब हमारे खिलाड़ी मेडल जीत के आते हैं तो यहाँ पे अपने घर पे बुला के उनको सम्मानित करते हैं, चाहे कोई भी खिलाड़ी हो, कहीं भी उसने मेडल जीता हो। ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं होता था। और एक अलग से जो एक सोचने का और कुछ करने का जो नजरिया खिलाड़ियों का दिया है, ये प्रधानमंत्री जी की एक सोच ही का कारण है कि आज हर अलग अलग खेलों में हमारे खिलाड़ी विश्व स्तर में अपनी अलग पहचान बनाए हुए हैं। 2016 रियो ओलंपिक में 2 मेडल आए थे। उसके बाद अभी आपने देखा होगा टोक्यो में हमारे 7 मेडल आए हैं। इस बार एशियन गेम्स में 100 पार का नारा दिया था, 107 मेडल एशियन गेम्स में हमने जीते। हमारे पैरा खिलाड़ियों ने 100 से ऊपर मेडल जीते। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि खिलाड़ियों का विश्वास है जो प्रधानमंत्री जी के ऊपर है
जी,
कि वही
तो आप जैसे कि आपने बताया, इतने सारे स्कीम्स हैं, इतने सारा जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट किया गया है, हमारे खिलाड़ियों को क्या कहते हैं, चाहे आपने कहा ट्रेनिंग चाहिए, उनको इक्विपमेंट चाहिए, उनको फिजियोलॉजिस्ट चाहिए, ये सब प्रोवाइड किया जाता है। यहाँ पे अगर हम बात करें जो कि छोटे छोटे गांव से, शहरों से जिनको टैलेंट को स्काउट करना होता है, उनके टैलेंट को होन करना होता है, ये क्या किया जा रहा है लार्ज स्केल पर कि इन सब छोटी जगहों से भी यूथ आ रहे हैं, वो अपने स्पोर्ट्स के दम पर बढ़ रहे हैं और उनको प्रोत्साहन भी मिल रहा है?
देखिए, एक दीनदयाल उपाध्याय स्कीम के तहत जो हमारे गरीब परिवार के बच्चे हैं, खिलाड़ी हैं, उनको 5 लाख रुपए सालाना कहीं भी एक सुविधा दी गई है कि कोई गरीब परिवार से बच्चा है जिसकी आय लगभग 2 या 3 लाख से कम परिवार की आय है, तो उसको 5 लाख तक की सुविधा डायरेक्ट उसको मिलती है। खिलाड़ी कोई अभी का जो अभी का खिलाड़ी हो या कोई पुराना खिलाड़ी हो हमारा, उसको आर्थिक मदद के रूप में 5 लाख रुपए खिलाड़ी को दिए जाते हैं। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। जिससे खिलाड़ी अपना ट्रेनिंग का खर्चा कर सकता है, या कोई पुराना हमारा खिलाड़ी है वो अपनी आय का साधन भी बना सकता है, अपना कोई रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी के लिए अपना कोई काम भी स्टार्ट कर सकता है। कोई अब हमारा अगर पुराना टाइम का खिलाड़ी है तो फार्मर खिलाड़ी है तो उसके लिए भी ये सुविधाएं हैं। और जो करंट में भी कोई ट्रेनिंग करता है तो 5 लाख तक की डायरेक्ट वो सुविधा दीनदयाल उपाध्याय स्कीम के तहत ले सकता है। और उससे अलग जो खिलाड़ी सब जूनियर से ही और सीएसएल फंड के तहत या कुछ भी होगी, गवर्नमेंट अपने अलग अलग स्कीमों के तहत खिलाड़ी को काफी फायदा पहुंचा रही है।
जी बिल्कुल, थैंक यू योगेश्वर जी। आपने हमें इस बात से you've highlighted all these things that perhaps the common man wouldn't know about these. I'm also being joined by Rohit Rajpal. He is a Davis Cup captain. Rohit Rajpal, thank you for joining us on the telecast. The same question that I would like to ask to you as well. Do you feel there is a palpable difference in the way the sports persons in our country and the sports infrastructure created for the sports person in our country has changed in the last 10 years?
So I think if you look at besides all the points that Deepa ji and Yogeshwar bhai have made, I think 2014 onwards when Prime Minister Modi took on as a Prime Minister of this country, I think the whole ecosystem of sports has changed. And I keep telling the people in the sports ministry whenever I meet them that I wish I was a player during this regime rather than earlier, because the kind of facilities, the kind of support the players are getting from not only the Prime Minister, but also people down the line, whether it's the sports minister, whether all the people who are working, the Secretary Sports, the DG, SAI, everybody who's working in the sports ministry till the bottom, their whole attitude is changed towards the players. They're at the forefront, whether it's players' welfare programs, where players are even medal winners are even given pension now, to the fact what they need to do and train. Because as you know, the biggest, we lose a lot of players to, where the parents are not supporting the children that, they need to make sports as a career. They push them to study, etc. Now it's a different ballgame altogether because, when they come and they win things, there is enough money to be made and a career to be this thing. And then also now, jobs across the country are there. Besides these things which are player welfare oriented, then the next things are the tournaments and the competitions, where a lot of money now is being spent in organizing big tournaments around in every sport, so that organizational capabilities are being developed in India by different federations. As you know, the Prime Minister himself has pitched in the last IOC meeting in Bombay for 2036 Olympics. And for that purpose, there's a lot of work happening. Whatever the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's office does, it's very well researched. So I do a lot of research on these programs for sports in different countries. And if you look at the US program, the maximum talent search and the talent comes from the schools and the universities themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And Khelo India and Khelo India Youth is a program which is very well researched by the Prime Minister's team. And it's on the same lines where they're really trying to bring up and create an ecosystem where the talent from every part of the country gets an opportunity, a podium to play domestically, and then come up and then exhibit your skills nationally and then take it internationally. And
right.
Again, there are various schemes in the sports ministry, like Yogeshwar ji pointed out and Deepa ji also, where target podium schemes are there, where international coaches, physios, you name it, are being provided. Equipment is being brought in. So I think there is nothing that can be done at this point for the players. Is being done.
So why do you think? Why do you think there was such a lacune in, building a strong sports infrastructure for the athletes in our country to take advantage of it, to give them opportunities at domestic level as well as international level? Why has this shift happened? Do you think this shift has happened only in the last 10 years? And if it has, why do you think it has?
Like, Deepa ji said, I mean, the intent and the will, the political will has to come from somewhere. End of the day, India has been a developing country. Of course, money is needed to develop infrastructure. Unfortunately, we've had games before, Asian Games and Commonwealth Games before, where we were late in creating the infrastructure, but because the games were brought in, sports infrastructure got developed along the way. But this is a different scenario now. India, we have a prime minister who's super active, not only in sports, but across different fields. So when he takes special interest in sport, you're seeing the results. I mean, like I said to you, the ministry, everybody's active now trying to promote players. The players' needs are being looked after. And once the focus of the prime minister is towards something, I mean, everything starts to move in that direction. So you see a clear difference. Okay. A clear difference, and you will see another huge difference now coming towards infra and sports because we are looking to host the 2036 Olympics. Preparations are already on way with infra and some amazing stadiums, amazing facilities coming up.
Okay.
I would like to. Can I add something here?
Yes,
very
please.
well said, Rohit ji. But now you see, you asked me in last 10 years. Tell me when previously in which panel para-athletes were included. It was only now that any committee, any policy-making decision, any awards committee, everywhere para-athletes are included. So this itself sends out a loud and clear message that now we are a sporting nation which is going towards inclusion.
Okay.
When I became the first ever woman to win a medal at the Paralympics, even a medal that was won in 1972 by Murlikant Petkarji was honored retroactively. His contribution done so many decades ago was also remembered. If the first woman was being honored with a Padma Shri or with an award, similarly, he was given his honor. I mean, that's the kind of focus, that's the kind of research, and that's the kind of attention and the health and welfare of retired old athletes who have brought honor to the country. Have you ever heard before that someone was sent out medical aid or they were given? I met Limba Ramji so many times. He's now not able to walk. He's ailing, so he is resided very respectfully in the hostel, given all the facilities in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium.
Yeah.
And similarly, there is a special group which is created where any information regarding any athlete who has ever made India proud and is in need of any financial or health assistance, medical assistance, will be taken care of. Job opportunities are offered. The retired athletes are now being invited and getting absorbed respectfully in the ecosystem to give back their experience. So, and if you see the federations, they have become by the athlete, for the athletes, and of the athletes. In the leadership role, women are being invited. You have P.T. Usha, you have Deepa Malik, you have Sujata Madam.
Yeah.
So there's so much of change that has happened.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And who better to know about this than you and all the other athletes and all the other sports persons who are joined me on the telecast. And
India has started reporting non-cricket, beyond cricket.
Exactly. That's one of the big,
we have started
one of the big difference that we see in our country as well. I'm going to
Malcolm, Kabaddi.
Absolutely. Let me also get in. I have with me Sumit P. Sumit, quickly a response from you. Now, from a country which was a third world country to now that we are at the ranks of actually superseding other countries to become the top 5 in terms of GDP, and we are closely going to now cross the mark where we are going to become the third largest economy of the world, it also reflects on the way our sports persons, our athletes are treated, and not just the way our athletes are treated, but also the kind of performances that we give on the international arena when it comes to sports.
Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. Look, when it comes to Prime Minister Modi, he's a man who thinks 50 years ahead of time. He's a man who thinks differently. He's a man who thinks on 10 paradigms. Possibly you and me can go up to 4. He thinks on 10. When Prime Minister Modi came to the power, the first thing he said that India's sports, quote unquote definition was cricket. वहीं शुरू वहीं खत्म वहीं मतलब फिर तेरी कहानी याद आई. That's what India's sports was. We are happy. Cricket हो रहा ना सब ठीक है. We have seen people playing hockey suffer. We have seen people playing hockey live in those old rail coaches. We have seen people playing football had no money. Forget the para athletes. That was even not a notion here. We didn't even know. I mean, before Prime Minister Modi, even I didn't know what is para athletes. I've never heard something like that. Because we were happy and contented with cricket. That is it. Bhai World Cup lana hai. Now, after the Prime Minister Modi came, I'll tell you a few things. First of all, he put a very able sports minister. He increased 5 times the sports budget. He put a lot of money in building the sports infrastructure. Then these Khelo India and all the schemes were rolled out. Then identifying the talent at the district level was rolled out. Then the revamp of the ministry was done. All the people who didn't have this mindset of pro cricket and only cricket, they were removed and different people were brought in. Then the most important thing is that every small and big event, Prime Minister Modi will endorse himself. For example, how will you know all these great athletes who are with me on the panel, you would not know them. It's not Prime Minister Modi because he will make sure if Deepaji tweets something, he will retweet it with a comment. Yeah. So immediately it reaches millions of people. Then I will know. I have seen, young boys and girls who have 800, 600 followers on their Twitter handle. And Prime Minister Modi is retweeting them with comments. So immediately you get attraction of few million people. You get the attraction of news channels. You get the attraction of media. And remember the event, I don't remember the event where exactly our team lost in the semi-finals or finals. He called them up. He called them up in the drawing room. Bola, aap roiye mat. You don't have to cry. Rone ki koi baat nahi, you played well. Imagine...
It was the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, Women's World Cup. Imagine the Prime Minister of a country calling up in the dressing room and telling, beta, ro mat, koi baat nahi, it's all fine. And when they came here, he met all of them. He honored all of them. So putting his weight behind paras, kabaddi, football, hockey, baseball, all kinds and types of athletes. Who will have known, our great Mr. Malik, the champion, who would have known him? Because it is because of the efforts of the Prime Minister where the definition of the sports was changed. And country needs a lot of sports infrastructure which we are building. Once we have give us another 5-7 years, we'll have the most of the infrastructure ready. I'll tell you, there'll be a day, Megha ji, in my life and your life, we will beat China in the medals. I promise you this will beat China in the medals. We were not having the infrastructure. We were not having the political will. We were not having the budget. We have all the three things put in there together. And when the Prime Minister puts his weight behind every small and every greater or the bigger athlete and make sure that nation endorses them, this is the power of this. Okay. And these people should also get brand endorsement. I appeal to corporates. Why can't, for example, all the 3 people here, why can't they endorse brands? Why it has to be only selected to a few people who have made it a their business? Why we have to do 400 crores of brand endorsement and yet they don't turn up in the most of the nationalistic events? I don't want to get into that, but why can't these people endorse the brands? If Deepaji will endorse a brand, and definitely she's like elder sister to me, I'm going to buy it. Okay. I'm going to buy it because she's like a sister to me. Why I should not buy? Yogesh bhai, Malik Saab, if they endorse a brand, I'm going to buy it. So this notion has to come from corporate India. I want to use this telecast to appeal to corporate India. Think beyond cricket for the sake of God. Okay. Cricket की भी बहुत दुनिया भाई.
Okay, all right. Yogeshwar, I'll come back to you. अब यहाँ पे एक शुरुआत हो गई है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनने लगा है, यहाँ पे स्कीम्स लॉन्च हो गई हैं, यहाँ पे फाइनेंशियल एड की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, यहाँ पे प्लेटफॉर्म दिया जा रहा है. अब आगे क्या एथलीट्स को चाहिए ताकि हमारी जो परफॉर्मेंस हो दैट इज सेकंड टू नन?
देखिए, आज के टाइम में जितना खिलाड़ियों के ऊपर खर्च हम करते हैं, हमारी सरकार करती है, दुनिया का कोई देश नहीं करता. आप किसी देश का खेल बजट उठा के देख सकते हो, वहां पे क्या फैसिलिटियां वो देख सकते हो आज. और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि सोच बदली है. जब किसी देश का प्रधानमंत्री खिलाड़ी जूनियर खिलाड़ी से बात करता है तो उनके अंदर एक उत्साह आता है, उनके अंदर एक जोश आता है कि भाई मेरे देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने मेरे से बात की है और मेडल लाने के लिए, देश के लिए कुछ करने के लिए हमें प्रोत्साहित किया है, हमें हमारा हौसला बढ़ाया, तो हमें अच्छा करना है. और अभी आपने देखा होगा पीछे प्रधानमंत्री ने जो हमारे जूनियर बच्चे हैं इसमें कुछ एक दो कुश्ती की लड़कियां भी हैं, अपने एक उनको शुभकामनाओं के एक लेटर लिखा है खिलाड़ियों की, आप अभी 2024 ओलंपिक है तो आप देश के लिए अच्छा करो, आप जूनियर हो, आपके पास है देश के लिए करने के लिए बहुत कुछ है, कई साल आप देश के लिए अच्छा कर सकते हो। तो ऐसी चीजें कभी पहले हुई नहीं थी। आज हमारे जो 16 साल के 17 साल के बच्चे खिलाड़ी हैं, उनको डायरेक्ट प्रधानमंत्री लेटर लिख के उनके घर भेजते हैं, तो उनके माता पिता को कितनी खुशी मिलती होगी। और यही साथ होता है, यही हौसला होता है जब कोई हमारा सीनियर खिलाड़ी या हमारे देश का प्रधानमंत्री या मंत्री या कोई भी इस तरीके के जब ये काम होते हैं एक हौसला बढ़ाने के लिए, तो खिलाड़ियों का एक मनोबल बढ़ता है। और वो नतीजा क्या देखिए कि हमारे खिलाड़ी कितने ज्यादा दोष में है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है, आप पूरा रिकॉर्ड उठा के देख लीजिए, जो भी खिलाड़ी से आप बात करोगे तो सबसे पहले वो प्रधानमंत्री जी की बात करेगा। और 10 साल पहले की आप बात कीजिए, उस टाइम में कोई भी खिलाड़ी किसी प्रधानमंत्री की बात नहीं करेगा।
जी बिल्कुल।
वो बस ये करेगा मैंने ये किया, मेरे परिवार वालों ने ये किया, मेरे कोच ने ये किया, किसी सरकार की बात नहीं करेगा। पहले तो एक फोटो सेशन होता था, खिलाड़ियों का कोई मेडल जीत के आते थे, उससे अलग कुछ नहीं, ना खिलाड़ियों किसी को नाम पता होता था। आज प्रधानमंत्री जी जब मिलते हैं तो खिलाड़ियों से डायरेक्ट नाम लेके बात करते हैं कि आपको यहाँ पे इंजरी हुई तो आपकी इंजरी कैसी है, आपने मैच मतलब मैच तक देखते हैं। तो वो ही है कि अब हमारे जो जूनियर बच्चे हैं उनको ये लगता है कि हम देश के लिए अच्छा करेंगे तो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी हमारे लिए भी ट्वीट करेंगे, हमारे लिए भी कुछ दो शब्द बोलेंगे, और यही बच्चों के आगे बढ़ाने का काम करता है। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि प्रधानमंत्री ने खिलाड़ियों को देश के लिए लड़ना सिखाया है। पहले खिलाड़ी देश के लिए रहे पर ज्यादा अपने लिए लड़ते थे। आज सबसे पहले बोलते हैं कि आपको क्या करना है, कि हमें देश के लिए मेडल जीतना है। और यही आप पीछे आप पास्ट में जाइए, 10-15 साल पहले खिलाड़ी के में मेडल चाहिए, सिंगेस में चाहिए, ओलंपिक में चाहिए, और आज साथ में बोल रहा है कि हमें देश के लिए मेडल चाहिए, हिंदुस्तान के लिए मेडल चाहिए, भारत माता के लिए मेडल चाहिए। तो उसी सोच के साथ खिलाड़ी मेहनत करते हैं। और वो चीजें क्या, हमारे जूनियर खिलाड़ी, आप 10 साल के बच्चे से बोलिए कि क्या बनना चाहते हो, ओलंपिक चैंपियन, देश के लिए मेडल जीतना, हमें वर्ल्ड चैंपियन देश के लिए बनना है, तो आज खिलाड़ी अपने लिए, अपने परिवार के लिए नहीं, देश के लिए मेडल जीतना चाहते हैं। तो ये चीज बदली है पिछले 10।
योगेश आप बहुत ही सही बात यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं, that those are all things that have turned into reality. Sunita Godara also on the telecast with me. She's the former Asian marathon champion. Sunita, thank you for joining us. And quickly, before I wrap this discussion, a response from you about how have you viewed in your career, in a span of several years, the transformation that you see on the ground of how our athletes used to perform, what are the facilities that they were provided, what was the kind of motivation and advice that they used to get, as well as other paraphernalia that is required for an athlete to perform to their best abilities in the last decades versus the decade that has just passed by?
See, I'm 2 decades back, that time there were no facilities. Every runner, or say every athlete going to the top level was struggling for financial support, for government support, for international exposure. Whereas now, it's totally different. Top level, if you are champion, then you get support. You get government support, you get corporate support, you get infrastructure, you get international exposure. So at the top level, everything has changed, say 100%. And the way they are getting the cash incentive, it is boosting them. Now they don't have to think about their financial problems. And parents are pushing their all children, that those who are good in sports, they are talented, then they are pushing them for sports, because now sports is seen as career, very good career like other careers.
Right.
Only thing is, we have to have more feeder system, so that top level, when they get all the support, everything. But what about the mass level feeder system, which has to come ground level, grass level? We have to work more.
Okay.
Where I feel that work is less for the feeder system.
Okay. All right.
There are champions.
I think I'd like to add here a bit that talking about the feeder system, I have seen Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji create the feeder system in a holistic manner. First, it was Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Beti Khilao. Then it was about Fit India movement, yoga, nutrition, millets, year of the millets, the right diet. I mean, it is not just only about sports. It is about creating a culture of sports in the country through various government initiatives.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
One quick point.
Absolutely.
I agree. I
Absolutely.
agree, but we have to work more on grassroots level. That is
5
for
seconds.
sure.
Okay. Okay.
Megha,
All
5
right.
seconds.
Sumit, quickly, 30 seconds, before I wrap this up.
Yeah, I have just 2 points. You know, we have Mr. Neeraj Chopra, who is an ace athlete. How did this ecosystem can produce Neeraj Chopras? If we continue the ecosystem, we can have a Neeraj Chopra everywhere. And imagine our government is spending 5 crore. 5 crore is around $800,000 on an Olympian in training. Name me a country which spends this quantum of money. 800,000 directly on a player. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Let's appreciate this. Let's celebrate this.
Okay.
We have a mountain to climb, but
Even the
it's
cash awards are the highest.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you win a medal,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
cash and
absolutely. You know,
I
we
agree,
have
I
a long
agree.
way to go. We have just about started. It is a start of something which
And
is
this
phenomenal,
start is
which is
very
going to
good.
be phenomenal. And obviously,
Yeah, this
the
is a good-
political will, when you have the political will, it makes things easier to happen at the levels below the top command. On that note, I thank all of you, all the athletes who have joined us. Sumit Peer, thank you for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.